Sorry.
All right, let's call meeting to order. Approval of last month's minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
We'll move forward with that.
All right, we have no E1, as Mike is at a legislative conference today and tomorrow. So we'll move over to E2 Finance, payment of bills. You have in your packet bills from William McCarthy through the end of April and AGH Law through the end of March. Any questions on any of those?
No questions.
All right. And then approval for accounts payable invoices in the amount of $1,985,845.68. I would need a motion to approve those payments.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable invoices.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank
All
you.
right. Next, we have an update on our Community Foundation's fund, and Xavier is going to run us through it.
Yeah, so this is something new. We're just going to report to you annually on the Community Foundation funds. This is something that's not in our annual audit, but there's about $200,000 that has been invested in two different funds, which I outlined in the memo. We have an agency endowment fund that currently stands at about $120,000, and then an operating and capital fund that has about $68,971. Annually, we do requests and draw some of the funds out of our interest earning to help cover some fare box revenue related to transportation service requests for local government partners and some shelters in the past. So we're just wanting you to be aware of where those funds stand and report them to you since they are not on our annual audit documents. Going forward and talking with the auditors, we will be putting a footnote on our annual audit just so that it's in there and noted.
How long have we had those funds there for?
A long time.
2007.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it was originally set up when we started doing the golf outing, which we no longer do, but that's when we originally partnered with the Community Foundation.
I also say thank you for that because I appreciate being able to see. It's the first time I've ever seen this.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I kind of question why we haven't been reporting that if it's not in the annual audit. And the auditor said, well, we probably should do that. So we're going to start doing that annually for you guys.
Great.
Awesome.
All right, and then Xavier is going to run us through the financial statement.
Yep, so you've got financials for March in the packet. For March revenues, we have about, our March revenues totaled about $115,000, which is 5.21% below budget projections. And then salary and benefit expenses for the month were about 10.5% below budget, largely driven by just reductions in some overtime and savings for unfilled positions. While we experienced some increases in utility costs and insurance premiums, all of our other expense categories have remained at or below budget. Year to date, we're standing at about $43,399 above budget. Year to date for salary and fringes, our expenses are about 5.7% under budget. Again, the only categories we're really over budget in is our casualty and liability insurance. We're about 13.14% over budget, just primarily due to higher physical damage insurance premiums, and then utilities are higher than we budgeted as well. But year to date, we're doing well, and we're about 3.83% under combined budget for revenue and expenses.
So I will need a motion to approve the unaudited financial statements.
I'll make a motion to approve the unaudited financial statement for March 2025.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D is a pension portfolio review. We have Jeff DeBenedetto from DeBenedetto and Associates, who's going to run us through.
Hi, thank you for inviting me today. What a difference 3 or 4 weeks make in the economy and the stock markets. So in your packets today, we include information through last Tuesday. It begins with the title page and the highlighted date, May 13th. If you turn to the next page, which is the portfolio overview, I will run through that. Year to date, we started with 31,775,923 in the pension. We've had one half of the annual contribution, 875,101. The withdrawals indicate pension obligations so far year to date. We've got realized gains, income, and then the ending value as of last Tuesday, 32,648,420, or up $629,000. If you slide just to the right as a percentage, net of all fees year to date, we're up 2%. The quarter has been strong. As you can see, it's up 2.7. So we finished the first quarter just slightly down, and we are positive again year to date. Down below the pie chart, our current asset allocation, basically we're 60% equity, a little less than 60% equities and 40% bonds, and then we've got 1.6% in cash. Just as a reminder, we keep that cash for pension obligations, and we'll replenish that when the second payment is made to the pension closer to the fiscal year end. Any questions on the overview? The next page then is the fiscal summary, which has a little different look to it, but again, through the same date range. Now, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, we started with just over $30,594,000. We ended again at $32,648,420 for a total investment gain of just under $2 million, or a total net return of fees 6.43. So if all else remains through the end of the fiscal year, that should bode well for the actuarial calculation that will happen. But as we've seen, and as I alluded to, that can change rather quickly. Any questions on the fiscal year performance? Just to give you a quick overview, as I mentioned, President Trump softened on his trade negotiations, which significantly helped the markets. The markets bounced back rather quickly. Overall, the economy today is strong. Last week we had inflation numbers. Inflation numbers were for April were 2.3. Core rose just slightly, but inflation is close to what the Fed's target is. The unemployment rate for April is 4.2%, historically still very low. In consumer spending, in light of tariffs that most of them that are there haven't taken effect yet, but consumer spending was still strong for April. So we're keeping an eye on what's going to happen in the next couple months. Good and bad, usually the markets don't do much over the summer months. The old saying, sell in May and go away. So most people don't pay attention when the summer months are going on and what's going on in the market. That's a good thing. I expect us to trade sideways, which means we should retain that return for the fiscal year. Although as we've seen, it doesn't take a whole lot of bad news to make the markets react these days. So the Federal Reserve has taken a wait and see approach to lowering interest rates. At the beginning of the year, there was a 90% certainty they'd lower rates 3 times, probably 3/4 of a percentage point. Now that probability's gone down to 50% during the calendar year 2025. So what we see there is maybe 1 rate decrease, which will help keep the economy moving later in the year. But again, we're still keeping an eye on what's going on. We're not doing any rebalancing right now because it's too hard to see where things are going at this point. But one comment I will make is that the diversification that we keep to lower risk is finally adding a lot of value to the portfolio. Whereas we saw in the last, 5 to 8 years, large cap growth stocks have done well. We have international stocks doing well. We have our alternative stocks doing well. So we have a lot of different pieces contributing rather than just one asset class.
If we do see interest rates go down, is there gonna be a recommendation about shifting any of that asset allocation with our bonds or any of that? Like, would that trigger a different recommendation from you all?
That is a good question. So rates going down, we probably would not see an allocation to higher bonds. But depending on how it affects the economy overall, that may charge us to make some allocation changes. If the rate decreases are because we're trending towards a recession, we might want to be more defensive.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
One last comment, I met with Mike and Susan last month, so we did our annual meeting regarding the 457 plan, so we've got that completed. And then we did have a discussion about the pension and the investment policy statement, which I don't know that we need to make any changes to, but that may come to you in the next couple months just for an updated that we reviewed it, and then you guys will sign off on that. Other than that, I think we've got a lot of the housekeeping for the two big pieces of finance for the district taken care of this year. So, any questions?
Sounds good to me.
Great, good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff, appreciate it. All right, next we have the operations, maintenance, and facilities report. In your packet, you have a lot of information on ridership. You can see our fixed route ridership was just a little over 111,000 for the month of April. Troy has caught up our ridership numbers for February, March, and April. So you can see there, April, we've gone over 13,000, doing over 13,670 rides, which is good and bad. Vehicle maintenance report, everything, we're in pretty good shape. I would like to point out on the miles between road calls, that's one of the highest averages we've seen for quite some time. So good to see that. We were over 7,000 miles for miles between road calls on that.
I think that's just due to the addition of newer vehicles.
Yeah, if you look at it, the 20, it's really exactly how it should be. The oldest ones are the worst, and the newest ones are the highest. So, but the 2400s, we get over 18,000 miles on them between road calls, which is really good. So, glad to see that. Demand response, overall availability remains good. We have picked up all 8 of our new vans, and we are working to get those in service. So we'll be retiring 8 vans. We have to get the camera systems installed, which is going to happen towards the end of the month. So we've also picked up 3 of SMTD's vans, which, as you guys know, we operate. We're picking the other 3 up Wednesday morning. So same process, getting those ready and getting hers disposed of as well. So I think we sold one of the other vans. We disposed of, I think we got $4,100 for it.
Yep.
So, which isn't too bad. So we'll continue to get new vehicles in and take new vehicles out. So, projects report, as you guys can see, a lot going on out here finally. So, there's footings poured, which means we can set walls. We're tying the new sewer in Wednesday, so Wednesday and Thursday. So there will be the street closure like we had before, where we're gonna run the Court Street stuff off of Winnebago Street. They think they can do it in a day, but we're planning for 2.5 just in case, because they're never right. So, but once that sewer gets tied in, then all the footings have been poured, and we'll get a crane in here, and we'll start setting some walls up next week, hopefully. So, or early in the week after that. So, excited to see that. Electricians have all the underground stuff almost wrapped up, and that's getting backfilled. So we're moving right along. We haven't made up to 80 days. We're behind, but we're going in the right direction. So. The paratransit software is, you know, we talked about last time, we were having some glitches. We did identify an internal process that was causing some issues for both our dispatchers and what our drivers were seeing. Troy worked with the software provider and identified what that was. We've corrected that. We think things are moving in the right direction. So that's positive news. And we also went live with the passenger portal a couple weeks ago. We started with a very small group of people that we thought would be interested in it. I think we sent out like 25 invites.
And it's 16 interested and 5 people signed up so far.
Yeah, so, and it's kind of, you know, we're hoping for more, but it is what it is. Some people just, and we have a lot of subscription rides, those people really don't need to schedule their own. So there's been a couple little glitches that we're working through. We have one user who couldn't get logged back in and did the password reset, so we're working through that, but I think we got that really narrowed down. So next week, we're gonna send out letters to about half of our, what do we have, about 2,400 letters total we're sending out?
Yeah, we're gonna send out about 1,200.
So we're gonna send about 1,200 to people and just kind of stagger how we're doing them so we don't get, because we have to go in and approve all the applications. It's not like they can just go in there and do it all themselves. We have to go in and review it and approve them to do it. So we don't wanna overwhelm them having to approve applications. Telephone system proposal we'll be opening up on the 21st.
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
and then I think there's a committee of 3 that'll be evaluating the RFP, so we're glad to get that wrapped up. May 9th, IDOT issued a call for projects statewide for highway and transit projects, so we'll be applying for funding for phase 3, which is generally the redo of this upstairs area here, making this into 3 offices, redoing our current training room to a file room, and quite a few other nice little things up here. So so that opened up, and we'll also be applying for the 2 battery electric buses that are associated with the Complete Streets project with the city. Hoping that happens. It's been a while since we've worked on that, but through the RAISE grant. But we're hoping that will all get taken care of with those call for projects.
Is the call for projects, the May 9th one through IDOT, is that directly with IDOT or is that through R1 or?
It's directly to IDOT, correct?
Directly to IDOT,
Yep.
right, yes.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
And then on the 15th, the FTA announced the notice of funding opportunity for bus and bus facilities and no low discretionary grant program. So we'll be applying for the funds to replace 8, which is all of them, of the 2013 diesels with new battery electric buses, so.
All that means is I'm gonna be really busy, guys.
Yeah, so, yeah, that has to be done by the 14th, so. Any questions on any of that?
No, sounds like a lot of good funding opportunities.
Yes.
And
Oh, no,
work.
this is great, no.
All right, E4, Human Resources, you have in your packet claims history for April of 2025. Susan, anything you want to add?
Not at this time.
All right, any questions for Susan?
No.
All right. And item B, approval for stop loss carrier renewal. We have Mr. Sal Marino here to present his recommendations.
Thank you, Dan. Kind of always like to start with a little refresher on what kind of a plan we have. It's a self-funded plan, which is opposite of what a fully insured plan would be, where the district pays fixed costs and then takes risk on the claim side. That's where we get our opportunity to save some costs. Actually having a pretty good year. The 2 components are stop loss premiums and what we pay for administration on the fixed cost side. The other piece is how our claims go throughout the year, and then we pay an administrator to pay those claims for us. So that's basically in a nutshell how the plan works. Went out to 11 total markets, 2 carriers surfaced to the top. One was Gerber Life and the other was United Healthcare. Originally, we had chosen United Healthcare purely from a financial standpoint, and then Gerber came in just recently with a better offer. So we kind of revised our thinking and decided to go with them. And what that does, because they did come in so aggressive, we're able to keep our risk the same, and we're also reducing our fixed cost. Just on the stop loss premium, with accepting the Gerber Life option, it reduces over what we're currently paying by $17,295, and our claims exposure we can reduce by $113,186. And the only thing I want to preface is that's our costs that we pay. It really has nothing to do with, we don't know how our plan year is going to close out yet. We've got 2 open months of claims, so we won't be able to really figure that until probably sometime in August. So these are just our costs, but the total cost of what the plan costs the district, we won't know for another at least 2 months. The only other thing I wanted to mention is by accepting this offer, we don't have to increase our exposure per individual on the specific deductible side, so we can keep that flat, and we don't have to increase our aggregating specific corridor, which is kind of another little pool of where anyone that hits our current 100,000, that gets fed until they hit collectively 120,000. So by going with the Gerber offer, we can reduce the cost, reduce our exposure, and then keep our overall risk the same. So that would be the recommendation, is to go with them.
Does this in any way affect employees and what, you know, is in network, out of network for
It doesn't.
their personal.
No, we were able to keep the plan identical. The network that we access is called the Alliance, which is, it's a co-op based out of Madison. We're able to keep that the same. Our prescription drug manager doesn't change. None of the benefits within the plan documents that the district has, both bargained and for admin, all of that stays the same. So this is purely just the stop loss coverage that is kind of a, I'll call it a wraparound of our plan. These are the coverages that we purchased to protect the district from a claim standpoint. That's a great question though.
Yeah.
So basically everything stays the same, we're just changing. I think of stop loss carriers as a commodity. We're just swapping out one for the other. Good company, A-rated, A+. And United Healthcare was also a top-rated carrier. They just were a little short on coming in with the best offer.
I think this is the first time we've had a reduction since I've been here.
It's the first time I've seen a reduction in a long time for any group. They just wanted to get aggressive and get your group. That's kind of what it boils down to. HCC came in with about well, you can see here on the spreadsheet, it was about originally 30%. They came off a few points, but they're way out. I mean, they're just, I don't know if they're just saying we really don't want the group anymore. We've been with them since 2018. So I think they've had such big losses over the years, they're kind of happy to walk away from it. But they told me they weren't, but they aren't showing it with the numbers, that's for sure. So I think it's a good time to divorce them and go with another carrier, which you do periodically with the stop loss.
Is this just a 1-year term then?
Yes,
renew?
1-year renewal.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions for Sal?
No, I make the motion to approve as recommended.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Sal, much
Oh, you're welcome.
appreciated.
Thank you.
All the years of service and doing the best for us.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to do it.
All
I'll
right,
get the paperwork going and we'll get this taken care of.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
E5 marketing, on your packet you have Orlando's memo. Orlando, anything you want to highlight?
No, I mean, pretty much highlight the last 4 weeks. It's always interesting because you know, do it the first 2 weeks of May, but you call it the May. Overall, so it's kind of a little bit of April and May. But yeah, just kind of an overview of what me as the marketing department has been working on. So any questions or anything like that?
Did you convert some of the students to be thinking of a career in marketing?
The convert is an aggressive word, but I did get them interested for sure. And it's always interesting when you go, you know, to these places because you explain to them, you know, the first thing they think is just driving a bus, but there's so many different careers within this building that you can kind of leverage transit for. That's kind of just what I try to speak to them about, and you know, all those good stuff. So.
Very good.
And I'd just like to add, we will be kicking off City Market Friday night, right?
Well, it
Last
started.
Friday.
It started last Friday. My apologies.
Yeah, they did not stop due to construction. They kept it going.
All right,
Rain, sleet, or snow.
That's great.
all right. E6 grants, no report. E7 safety and training. You have Drex's memo on the numbers. Everything looked pretty good there, or is there any questions on that? All right, and then item B, approval of workers' compensation renewal. We have Miranda here from Marsh McClellan.
I just say Marsh MMA, it's a lot easier.
You can still say assurance.
Okay, well, that's what I know, that's why I had to literally write it
That's
down,
what
so I
some of
didn't
us
say it,
prefer
so.
anyways.
Yeah, she has actually some okay news for us, so we'll turn it over to Miranda.
Well, thank you for having me. So workers' compensation this year, your payroll is going up by 3%. And so typically what we see in the work comp market right now, because it's very stable, your payroll is driving your premium, and then loss history will increase or decrease that based on how losses have been performing. So your overall renewal actually resulted in an increase of 2%. So you're seeing a net rate decrease of about 1%. And so we're seeing the losses come down slightly over the last couple of years. So that's kind of driving that net rate decrease, which is nominal right now, but if we continue to see improvement in losses, we'll continue to see improvement in rates, so that's very good. And then for the safety grant this year, you're also getting an increase. I believe it's about $5,000 more than last year, so your total safety grant for my PRF this year is $33,054. So increase of premium is $17,160 over expiring, and then you're getting the $33,054 safety grant. Any questions?
All right, so yeah, just, we did budget a lot more than this, which is good. We budgeted $1,084,500 for that, because we certainly didn't expect when we were going out early on that we were going to just get that small increase, so we were quite happy with that. So, staff is recommending that we issue, go in agreement of buying coverage with IPRF for the term July 1 through June 30 of 2026, and the dollar amount of $885,149.
I'll make a motion to approve the award of the purchase order to IPRF.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Miranda, thank you very much. Safe travels back.
Thanks very much.
All right, we do have executive session. It looks like we've already pinned down next board meeting of the 23rd.
Correct.
All right, it still works for both of you?
Very good.
All right.
Going to executive session to discuss pending litigation matters pursuant to 5 ILSC 122C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
Hey, man. Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
I'll make the motion to enter into executive session.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We done? We're done.